On the 24th of February 2022, Russia declared war on Ukraine. The priority of many refugees was to get their children to safety from bombing, which has cost thousands of lives and destroyed much of Ukraine's civilian infrastructure. Since then, more than 2,000 Ukrainians have arrived in Northern Ireland under government assistance schemes for refugees. My name is Laura Spearin, and I am the founder and project lead of the Connecting Minds project. Like many community support companies, we at the Connecting Minds project put our heads together to see how we could help Ukrainians who have arrived in Northern Ireland. As work was already being done to welcome refugees from Ukraine to Northern Ireland under the schemes run by the UK Home Office and the government for levelling up housing and communities, we came up with the idea of the Learn the Language project, a project that provides English as a foreign language to Ukrainians, with the end goal of students achieving a certified level of English, which will support them in finding a job, communicating with locals, and finding a sense of purpose in their new home communities in Northern Ireland. We began by posting our idea on Ukrainian social media groups in Northern Ireland, just to see if there would be an interest. And 300 Ukrainian refugees replied, asking to register for the project. With most refugees living on the outskirts of cities or out by the countryside, we gathered information from qualitative surveys, and the data showed that 90% of the Ukrainians we surveyed preferred online learning rather than face-to-face. We currently have 4 levels of English running at the moment, with students learning British English grammar, vocabulary, writing, speaking, and pronunciation skills, with Macmillan Everywhere's online curriculum. Students have end-of-unit exams every 5 weeks, and this also includes written and speaking exams. Let's take a peek.
Hello, my name is Victoria. I had been living for many years in Ukraine before I arrived in Northern Ireland because of the war in my country. I was sitting on the fence about traveling to Northern Ireland, but terrifying explosion close to my home was the last straw. I was going by bus for several hours with other Ukrainians to the border with Poland. We were afraid of being attacked by Russians at any time. We often found ourselves by a hair's breadth of death passing by some occupied territories. This was a terrifying experience for all of us. We kept our fingers crossed to survive and find safety, peace, and acceptance in our new home. Fortunately, we approached Poland safe and sound. In Poland, I got on a plane to Dublin. In Dublin, my sponsor met me and took me by car to my new home in Londonderry. I was over the moon to see a good attitude towards me. In Londonderry, I realized that I would need a certificate in English if I wanted to get a well-paid job. My English was good enough not only to make small talk, but also to sort my matters out in the bank or in the immigration office when speaking without an interpreter. However, to know a language was one thing, and to take an English exam was another. That said, it was hard for me to keep up conversation on some topics in English. I wanted to improve my English. I got to know about the LTL course and applied for it. I had been working and studying hard for weeks to improve, and now that the unit is complete, I am aware of the particularity in the usage of some phrasal and descriptive verbs. I now also know the specificity of past tenses in English. I am now looking forward to studying the next unit. I feel amazing, confident, and empowered. I am totally over the moon.
Thank you for the opportunity to write this essay. Usually, I don't have time to reflect on these thoughts because of daily routine. Nowadays, I am in Northern Ireland. Irish people offered my children and I a shelter to survive the war. Before this, I have never traveled neither to Great Britain or Ireland, so I had no idea where we should move and what is awaiting us. But what I was definitely sure was there would be a value of civilized society, and this value has been confirmed. We arrived in Northern Ireland 5 months ago. Our sponsor's family met us at the airport, and from the first days of our communication, we started to feel a friendly attitude towards us and acceptance, although we were completely unknown people to each other. Our sponsors helped us to settle as much as they could. They accompanied us in the process of legalization, enrolling to the job center, schools, JP, bank, and etc. They introduced us to their closest friends and supported me in looking for a job. We are very successful in settling here. Why? Because my children have already adapted to the school education. Irish schoolmates are friendly to them. Teachers pay attention to them, to the children's needs. That's why step by step children learn English in a comfortable way and do it successfully. I have a lovely job here in my professional field, and it is interesting for me to enrich my own experience by learning from the Irish business environment and legislation. Thinking of how I felt myself before and now, I honestly admit that my personal life in Northern Ireland is now easier than life in Ukraine before, despite the fact that I am a single parent here. First of all, my children and I are in a safe place. Second, this place is so beautiful, and ocean landscapes are for me a huge healing treatment and inspiration. Third, all our basic needs are met: living, education, job, etc. The only thing which is not acceptable now is my inability to plan our future. But I believe if we study and work hard, we will arrange our lives in the best possible way. And thank you very much, dear Laura, for the marvelous opportunity to study English in your classes.